guys, so today I'll be teaching how to do the ring muscle up. Now first things first, what are we going to need? Now we're going to need a pair of gymnastics rings. We're going to need about a bar about 8 feet or so. I'm using a basketball net. And then we're going to need something about a foot or so higher that I can elevate my feet off the floor. Now I'm using an everyday item. This is just basically a storage bin. Alright, so with the ring muscle up, I like to break it down into 5 categories. We've got the dead hang, the pull, the transition, the push, and then finally the lockout. Now what I like to teach first is the dead hang. So for this first exercise, we're actually going to bring the rings down to about your chest level. Alright, so now that we have the ring at chest level, the first thing we got to learn first is how to properly grip the rings. Now the big difference between the gymnastics rings versus the bar muscle up is the grip. Now with the gymnastics rings, in order to do a ring muscle up properly, we need to learn something which is called the false grip. Now in a regular pull-up, your grip is usually like this. So see how my knuckles are on top of the ring? Now with the false grip, I actually want the complete opposite. I want to have my knuckles on the bottom of the ring. So how do we do that? So what we're going to do is we have our rings. This is the neutral ring position, okay? When the rings are pointed this way, they're not this way or that way. So all we're going to do is I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to go through it like this. So high five, what's up friend, how are you? Yeah, cool. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn my hand and face my palm inwards, okay? So towards me, not outwards. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, what's up ring, I want to grab you. So I grab the ring like that now, okay? Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to flex my wrist down. And now look what's happened now. Look where my knuckles are. They're on the bottom. And what also you're going to want to notice too is the way the ring is positioned on my palm, okay? So when I'm doing a false grip properly, the ring is going across my palm, okay? I'm not grabbing it like this. So see how I can still get my fingers below? That's okay. But what I want, see how the support is only going across? I want the ring to be going all the way diagonally across my palm for complete full support. Now once you have that, to increase your false grip strength, you can actually kind of really flex and almost have your wrist on the ring for a bonus extra support. So now that we've learned how to do and grip the rings, we're going to learn some exercise how to get into the dead hang. Alright, so guys, the first exercise we're going to do is called false grip forearm pulls. So all we want to do is we're first going to get into our false grip, and then from here, simply we're just going to lean back, okay? Now, what's very important is we're not leaning back into an Australian pull-up. We don't want that. We want to have our body really on a nice, very small angle, and I'm pretty much standing up. Now from here in my false grip, what I want to do is I want to bring the rings to my forehead. So it's going to look like this. Doesn't look like much, but you'll feel it in your forearms if done properly in the false grip. Now how to do it properly is very, very important. Notice where my elbows pivot when I do the movement, okay? So notice the movement is only in my elbow and the pivot, okay? So when I'm doing the movement, my elbows aren't coming in towards my lat, because as soon as I do that, what that does is that has now activated my lats and my back, and I don't want that. I want to build the forearm strength. So key thing to remember with this is you're only pivoting at the elbows, and the elbows are not coming in towards me, okay? All right, so progression number 2 now, I call this the hop hop. So we're gonna get into our false grip, and all we're gonna do from here is we're gonna go into a seating position, okay? So it looks like this. And now, another key factor, guys, when I say we're gonna go into a dead hang on the gymnastics rings, the dead hang looks like this. Our grip is gonna be in pronation. So the rings are turned outwards, okay? So we never are gonna wanna start the muscle up like this. That's wrong, we don't wanna do that. We're always gonna start in the dead hang in the pronation grip, okay? So, we're gonna go down from here, start in pronation. Then all from here is I'm gonna bring one leg out. And then from here, I'm gonna hop, and I'm gonna bring the other one out, okay? Now, to make this exercise the most beneficial, the thing you wanna work on is going as slow as possible. Because the slower you go, every time I do this, you see I'm creating a dead hang. So I can go like this, cool, but the slower you go, the more benefit you'll get out from that. All right, so for this next exercise, I've actually raised the rings up just to about a level I can get a dead hang, because we're actually gonna try the dead hang now. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna start in the supinated grip first, simply because it's easier. So we're just gonna do a dead hang. So we're gonna start in the supinated grip like this, and then our goal is to turn it out into pronation and try and hold, and then stop. To switch out to pronation, your hands might drop. It is okay. So if you can't switch out to pronation at first, literally just dead hang in the supination, because you are still building that strength, and that is actually the grip you're gonna need to start the pull, which is going to be our next thing. So we're gonna move on to the pull now, and this first exercise, we are going to want to bring the rings back down to chest level. All right, so guys, we've made it to step number 2, the pull. So now we've got to somehow get from that dead hang and then do a pull-up. So we're gonna do a few progressions, and the first things first is doing a false grip Australian pull-up. So remember that nice little tote or a foot thing I asked you guys to grab? Now we're gonna use it. So we're gonna place our box or whatever in front of us into a position where I can get my feet, my heels up on top, okay? So now I'm in my Australian dead hang. Notice where my hips and my core, they're engaged. They're not sagging, okay? We don't want that. We want to be nice and engaged. Now, my starting position on the rings, very important, is always in the pronation. Now, my first step, if I were to actually start my muscle up, would be I would want to turn the rings in towards me, and then I would be pulling up to my chest. And then I'm going to come back down, and then turn the rings out. In, pull to the chest, down, point them back out to pronation. Okay guys, so for this progression, I've actually raised the rings up to about a height where I can, perform a pull-up, because that's actually what we're gonna try and do right now. So we're gonna use our trusted little box again. I am gonna first step up onto it. I'm gonna first position myself into my dead hang, and from here, I'm gonna bring the rings in towards me. And it's very important, guys, is as I go down, the rings are staying close together. They're not going or flaring out or doing anything funky, okay? So all from here, I'm just gonna do a nice negative. So I'm gonna bring the rings to my chest. So I'm gonna hop off this box, and then I'm gonna come down as slow as I can, okay? So hop off, come down slow, 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 slow. Dead hang, out to pronation if you can. Back up, hop off, slow, 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 into pronation. So for this third progression, we are gonna now try and do an isometric hold. So we are actually really gonna now try and do the pull-up, and when we get to the top, we're gonna try and hold it, depending on your level, between 5 to 10 seconds. So we're gonna start out in pronation, we're gonna go to a dead hang, and then we're gonna turn them in, and then pull to the chest. Hold, 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 3, 4, 5, come back down, out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. All right, so we've completed step number 2. Now we're gonna move on to step number 3. Now we're actually gonna pass the transition and move up to the push part, simply because the transition is the most difficult part, so I do like to save that for last. So for the push part, in order for us to do the muscle up, we need to be able to do a deep dip, okay? So a regular dip, you're coming down to 90 degrees and you're going back up. A deep dip, however, is you need to pass that 90 degrees and really get down to pretty much your shoulder is almost aligned with your wrist. So it looks like this. So if you're going up from your muscle up, you get into a position like this, where you're exactly what I just said, you're in that deep position, and you need to have that strength to be able to push yourself up and then, lock them out after. So we're gonna learn how to pretty much do a deep dip, and the first things first is learning the negative. So we're gonna use our little trusted box. I'm gonna position it just a little bit behind the rings, just so I can step up onto it, okay? I'm gonna hop up into my neutral position. Whoops, that's why you put some heavy stuff in there. Hop up into my neutral position, and then from here, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down, 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 try and hold, 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 and then I would let go, okay? I'm gonna gonna go back up. Hey guys, fill your box up by the way, because when it's got nothing in it, it falls off. And we're gonna come down, 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 hold, 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 and then stop. So now for the next progression, we're actually gonna work backwards. So we're gonna get back up onto our trusted box. I don't know how trusted it is now that it falls on me. But so we're gonna get now down into our deep position, okay? We're gonna have one leg come off the box, so it's in a hang. And then from here, if you don't have the strength yet to push up, you're gonna have your one foot on the box, and then simultaneously, as you push with your foot, you're gonna push and do the dip. So it's gonna look like this. Come back down. See, he wants to fall on me again. And up. And up. And then once that starts feeling comfortable, you know, drop that second leg. And then push up. And don't worry about locking out right now, guys. We're just focusing on the dip. Okay? Okay, so for the third progression, it's gonna be basic ring dips. So after you're already a little bit gassed doing those first two exercises, you're gonna burn out with just basic ring dips. I can step back up on my box, it's gonna fall on me again. Oh, it didn't. And now from here, I'm gonna come down into my dip. Now guys, I'm gonna explain to you a proper dip right now. So, my feet aren't in front of my hips. They're not back here. I wanna keep the hollow body. Why I wanna do this is because this forces me to use my chest pushing up instead of using more of my triceps, okay? Also, another important thing too is when I keep in that hollow body, I'm more stable, which it results into less shakiness on the way up. All right, guys, we are getting super close. We are moving on to step 4 now, the lockout. So what is the lockout? This is pretty short and simple. Basically, the lockout is having our arms completely locked out into a very straight position. Now, mostly if we go up into our dip, we're usually probably gonna finish into a position like this where our wrists are pointing in towards our hips and our arms aren't completely locked out. Now with the rings, a complete lockout is we wanna have our wrists turned out, so pointing in front of us, and notice how my arms all of a sudden have one locked out. Now I am double jointed in my arm, so that's, you know, it might look deformed to you guys, so I don't expect you guys to completely look like that. But bottom line is you wanna be in a locked out position. So we're gonna learn a few, just 2 quick progressions how to do that. Now I have lowered the rings down to about a hip level. So the first things first is we're gonna start into that deep dip position, and then from here we're just gonna push up very nice and simple and then learn to lock the rings out, okay? Come back down, lock the rings out, okay? Now this progression we're gonna practice starting in the lockout position, but now we're gonna introduce just a little bit of a lean forward. And it looks very, very simple, but if done properly, you're gonna notice a very, very big amount of tension happening on your elbow joints. So this is what I want to see, guys. Just a nice lean forward, okay? And that's it, okay? Nice lean forward, and that's it. Now notice, guys, when I'm leaning forward, the rings aren't coming up with me. They're staying in that position, and it's only my shoulders and my chest moving forward, okay? Now once you start to get the feel for that, what you're going to want to do is try and hold it, okay? So you're going to come down from your dip, you're going to come up, walk them out, lean forward till no, you can't lean any more forward, hold, 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 and then come back in and down and up, forward, 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 and down and up. All right, guys, we have now made it to the last and final step, the transition. So now's the time to really, really pay attention, get the notepad out, whatever you want, because this is the important stuff. So I'm gonna really break down the muscle up for you guys right now and explain to you all the steps and procedures of how to properly perform it, okay? So first things first, false grip. We're gonna get into our false grip. First things first, pronation grip. We're gonna start from here in our dead hang. Now the first thing that we'd wanna do is bring the rings in. Then from here, we're gonna pull to our chest. Pull, 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 pull. Once we get to our chest, we begin the transition. Now one important factor, write this down please. When we are performing the ring muscle up, the rings always want to be as close as possible to our body, okay? So when we perform, for example, the transition, you don't want to be out here all crazy. We want to keep the rings in the pull-up close, in the transition close, and in the dip close, okay? So, we're here now in our pull-up. First things first now, what I need to do is I need to turn the rings out to neutral position. So I'm gonna turn the rings out from here, keeping them super close, okay? So I'm not out here. So I pull from here, I'm gonna turn from here. Now, this is where the magic happens. In a simultaneous movement, okay? So I'm gonna get on here just to elevate myself easier, okay? So, I'm from here, okay? In a simultaneous movement, what needs to happen is I need to get my shoulders up and roll them forward, and as I do that, I am turning the ring out, okay? So I'm gonna slow it down really slow for you guys, okay? Pronation, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. I get here, first things first, I'm gonna turn them out. As I do that, I'm gonna roll my shoulders forward and then turn the rings outwards. Now look where I am. I'm in my deep dip position, and then from there, it would be the dip that we just learned, right? Okay, so I'm gonna do it, slow down really again one more time. So, pronation, supination, pull, 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 pull to the chest, rings to neutral, roll forward, and turn the rings out. Then from here, it's the dip into the lockout. Come back down. All right? So, that's the transition on the way up. Now on the way down, it's actually, in my opinion, more difficult to keep the false grip. So, there's a little technique trick I like to do. So we're gonna first start up in the top position, okay? We're gonna come down, 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 down. Now, once I get into my deep dip position, the next thing what I wanna do is I need to drop, so I'm in my deep dip position, and this is a simultaneous movement again. As I drop my elbows, what I'm gonna do is, because you're gonna notice, when you drop your elbows, your grip is naturally gonna wanna fall down back into this position, and if we do that, we can't get back up on the ring, so we don't want that. So how do we avoid that? What I'm gonna show you. So we're in the deep dip position. As I drop my shoulders, what I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna try and grab under the ring. So see how I grab under the ring? So I'm gonna drop the shoulders, grab under the ring, resist the urge to want to drop, and as I drop my elbows, naturally the rings are gonna want to come back into the position. Which position? My pull-up position. And then from there, I would finish the movement. So I'll do it again. So I'm gonna dip, 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 drop the shoulders, and as I drop, I'm grabbing under the ring, grab under the ring, 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 boom. And then I finish, okay? All right, so for this progression, you need to be very explosive, so as fast and as powerful as you can. So we're gonna go back into the same position as that Australian pull-up. We did the first movement for the pull-up. So, but this time we're gonna literally explode enough to the point we can do that transition. So this is how it's gonna look. Start in pronation, bring it in, and up, okay? I'm gonna slow it down. Pull, 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 rings are here. I'm gonna jolt forward, turn the rings out, and then I push it up, okay? All right, guys, so this is gonna be the last progression. This one can get a little shaky because what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be doing a jumping muscle up. It's more to just kind of understand the concept of the transition. It's not really a controlled movement, so be careful, but it looks like this. So we're gonna start on pronation. We're gonna first bring into supination, and then we're gonna jump, so. And then we're gonna push up and lock out. Come back down, and then jump up, lock out. And remember, we're gonna drop the elbows and grab under the ring to keep that false grip. All right, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to starting to do some muscle ups with you guys. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you would like to see me teach another movement, then please let me know what you would like to see next. Thanks so much for taking the time to listen, and have fun doing some muscle ups.